Hello, today's lesson is scale drawings and scale models. First, what is a scale drawing? A drawing, as in the photo here, we have a real horse and we have a drawing of the real horse. The real horse height is 1500 millimeters high and the drawn horse is 150 millimeters high. And it's drawn to a scale, special scale, and the scale here is 1 to 10. Later we're going to explain what is a scale. But first we are explaining now what is a scale drawing. So this is the real horse and this is the scale drawing of the real horse. So a scale drawing is a drawing that uses a scale to represent an object as smaller or larger than the original object. Of course, as we see, the original object here is larger than the drawing, so the drawing is smaller than the original object. Here also we have another original object, the original photo, and this is a photo of a boy, and this is an enlargement drawing of it. So here the model is larger than the original object or photo. What is a scale model? You know, a model is a three-dimensional object or model that uses a scale also to represent an object as smaller or larger than the actual object. As you see here, this is a house and this is a model of a house. Okay, so this is a model of a house and the original house looks exactly like it, but it's made by special scale. Now, what is a scale? A scale is a ratio, and as we know from the video before this one, we learned what is a ratio and what is a proportion. A ratio is a relation between two quantities. So the scale here is a ratio between a length in the scale drawing and its corresponding length in the original object. An example of this. As you see, this is the original tree. The original tree is 100 feet high. So this is the actual height of tree equal 100 units or 100 feet. If you're going to draw it to a scale, so we can draw it with, instead of the length 100 feet, we'll draw the length 1 millimeter or 1 unit. So the same tree is drawn to scale 1 to 100. This means that, therefore, on paper, the tree will have a height of 1 unit, while in the real world, the tree will have a height of 100 units. So this is the scale. And as we know, a scale is a ratio between two quantities. The first one is for the drawing and the second one is for the original. So the scale of this drawing is 1 to 100 as we said, which means that every 1 unit in the drawing represents 100 units in the original tree. And what I want you to take care of is the ratio, which is the scale. The first number in the ratio should be for the drawing or the model, and the second one should be for the original, and this should be for all the scales. The first one is the drawing, the second one is for the original, with the same order. Now let's take an example. As you see, this is a part of a map for the United States. We want to use the map to answer the following questions. The first question: the actual distance from Chicago to Evanston is 11.25 miles. What is the distance on the map? So this is Chicago and this is Evanston, okay? So the distance between them in the real is 11.25 miles. We need to know its length or its distance on the map. So the distance from this point to this point on this map. As you see, the map should contain this part, and this part is the scale of the map, the scale with which the map is drawn. The scale says that for every 1 inch on the map represents 18 miles in the real distance. So every 1 inch on map represents 18 miles in the real. So what we want to do is, we are going to do first, write the scale as a fraction. The fraction is always, as we said, the order is first we write the map over actual. And this is also another way of writing the ratio or the scale. As you remember, any ratio can be written as a fraction like this, map over actual, or it can be written as map to actual, as you remember from the video before this one for ratios. So we can write it as a fraction, and this is the way we're going to solve our problem, by writing the scale as a fraction like this, map over actual, equal, from here we write it as 1 inch over 18 inch. Instead of this sign, we write it as a fraction like this, and it means the same thing. So, and second, we want to give a variable for the distance which is unknown, which we want to get it d be the distance on the map, and write a proportion. But also from the video before this, proportion means two rays equal to each other. So the proportion here will be, this is the scale. As we know from the first step, we got the scale 1 over 18. So again here, I'm sorry. So the scale equal d over 11.25. And d is the distance on map, as 1 is the map, okay? And 11.25 miles is the distance in the original, and 18 is in the map also for the original. So every one corresponds to its corresponding one. 1 over 18 equal d over 11.25. Now we want to solve this equation in d. Remember solving equations from the second video. Multiply both sides by 11.25 to solve the equation, or cross multiply. As you see here, 11.25 times 1 over 18 equal d, and this means that d equal 0.625. So the distance on the map is about 0.625 inches. This distance from this point, Chicago, to Evanston, on the map is about 0.625 inches for this special map. The last thing to note is that if the scale of a drawing is represented by a ratio greater than 1, this means that the actual object is smaller than the drawing. Hope you understood our lesson, and to next videos. Thank you for listening. Bye.